Larson gets a documentary. Denny Hamlin says NASCAR is lacking stars, and Brad Pitt's got a racing movie. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, Kyle Larson has a documentary coming out. Let's see what John Newby from The Heavy had to say about that. Kyle Larson's quest for wins outside of NASCAR is about to take center stage during a new documentary series. He will help Fox Sports and Flow Sports highlight the danger and excitement of dirt racing. Announced May 3rd, Dirt, the Last Great American Sport, will follow the 2021 Cup Series champion as he competes against the best names in dirt racing. The list includes 2022 USAC Silver Crown champion Justin Grant, 2019 USAC National Midget champion Tyler Courtney, and 19-time USAC National Series winner Thomas Mez Mezzazural. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. These racers will provide interviews over the course of 5 episodes as they explain how they gamble with their lives every time they climb into their dirt cars for prestigious events such as the Chili Bowl, Kings Royal, and the BC39. The first episode of Dirt, the Last Great American Sport, will debut on Tuesday, May 16th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FS1 will broadcast the documentary series while putting dirt racing in front of a larger audience. So a few things to take away from that right there. First off, Kyle Larson is getting a documentary. That is good for him. Going to sort of, get some people that may not be interested in NASCAR, some dirt fans, which I'm sure a lot of dirt fans are going to watch that. Maybe he gets some more dirt fans interested in watching NASCAR races. On the flip side of that, there will be some NASCAR fans watching, and they will get introduced to all of those dirt drivers, some of which names I'm sure I messed up there, and I apologize. But they will be introduced to NASCAR fans, so maybe you get some NASCAR fans crossing over to the dirt side of things. I think that's really cool, and I think going forward, NASCAR has this digital package where they should sort of, promote their drivers some more, whether it be what they do in their spare time, this is what Kyle Larson does in his spare time, obviously, or, if you want to do an at-track thing or anything like that, because, smooth transition here. Let's take a look at what Denny Hamlin had to say about NASCAR not having stars right now. Per Adam Stern of the Sports Business Journal, Denny Hamlin on NASCAR's key challenge, lack of stars. No one even knows who the stars of our sport are now. They only know the old names. This comes from a list of issues, but until we actually have superstars, our sport will always be niche. So I think he makes a pretty fair point. I just mentioned that NASCAR has expanded their digital team, so hopefully NASCAR will get it together and have a whole bunch of just things around drivers that sort of promote them. F1 has the really great Drive to Survive thing on Netflix. That has introduced a lot of people to the drivers over there in F1. NASCAR needs to do similar things. They don't necessarily need to copy that format altogether, but they do need to do things to get the drivers out there, because you don't just pull for a race car anymore. Those days are kind of over with. Yes, there are still some Ford guys. Yes, there are still some Chevy guys. Yes, there are still some Toyota guys who pull for a manufacturer, but it's not like it was back in the day where you had tons of people doing that. Now people are more involved with the driver of the car itself, and if people don't know the driver of the car itself, it makes them really less, it makes it really less likely for them to get invested into the sport, because they don't have a driver to pull for, much like, you have a team to pull for in a team sport. You're pulling for a driver here, and if you don't know the driver, it's harder to get into, thus making it a niche sport. So I do agree with Denny Hamlin there. But NASCAR hopefully gets it together, like I said, because they've already expanded their digital team. Speaking of getting to know drivers and F1 doing good things, Brad Pitt is going to have an F1 movie. This from Motor Trend. Production plans for Brad Pitt's F1 movie sound incredible. Joseph Kosinski's Top Gun Maverick follow-up will feature similar levels of practical production, including star Brad Pitt driving an F1 car. This from ESPN F1. Brad Pitt will be driving an actual F1 car alongside the rest of the grid at Silverstone as part of the new movie that's in production. Directors Jerry Bruckheimer and Joseph Kosinski will enter an 11th team to film on track for the rest of the season. And I showed you that tweet to show you this tweet. Colton Herta roasts him by saying, Brad Pitt got a super license before me. Tough. So there you go. NASCAR, not the only ones that make weird decisions from time to time that get quite criticized by other drivers. I'm glad Colton Herta spoke up there because it was absolutely ridiculous that he couldn't get a super license last year if they're going to give one to Brad Pitt to film a movie. But moving along, that aside, if you remember back in the day, Days of Thunder was actually the sequel to Top Gun back in the day from the original maker of Top Gun. So now it just shows the sign of the times. That sort of Days of Thunder sort of launched NASCAR into that next sphere for people to enjoy the sport. Now F1 has sort of taken that same spot with F1 being the director's next an F1 movie being the director of Top Gun 2's next film. So just sort of weird how things are cyclical, but instead of NASCAR getting the bump this time, it is F1. It makes me wonder, how come we haven't had a NASCAR movie in such a long time? I mean, what was the last really good NASCAR movie? Some people would say Talladega Nights, the Ricky Bobby thing. I didn't really like that movie, I'm not going to lie to you. But we haven't had a big NASCAR movie since that one, and the biggest NASCAR movie before that one was probably Days of Thunder, right? So it looked like once every 10 years NASCAR gets a movie. So we're well overdue for a big budget Hollywood NASCAR movie. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Who would you cast in a NASCAR movie if it came out now? Yeah, but that's the end of this one. That's all I got for you on this one. If you made it this far, feel free to subscribe down below. If you got a comment, question, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. If you're already subscribed, you know I appreciate you all as well. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace.